Good evening, BB Nation. My name is Ryan and welcome to the channel. Now, if this is your first time watching this video, definitely welcome. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe so that way we can keep updating you going forward. Well, it is Thursday. It's my favorite day of the week because it's Semiconductor Thursday. That's right. You can see right behind me here in the VectorVest 7 software within the semiconductor industries. There's two industries in particular. You've got equipment and you've got manufacturing. So in tonight's video, I'm actually going to just take the top 5 by GRT, which is the forecasted growth rate earnings, and we're going to break down the charts. So if this is something that you're interested in, stick around and let's get started. After resorting both of those industries by GRT, I chose the top 5 stocks. Like I said, this is the list right here. We've got some big names on this list. You know, Nvidia Corp, obviously up at the top. We've got ARM Holdings and Advanced Micro. Disclaimer, those are probably my two favorite stocks here. If you've watched my videos, you know I promote those two quite a bit. I think they're phenomenal companies. But look, we got some other names in here. We've got ACM Research, Quick Logic, Applied Opto, Indie Semi, Data IO, Astera Labs, and Skywater Tech. So a lot of names that a lot of people are not familiar with. Now, this list here, we can see the GRT, the growth rate and earnings, phenomenal, all double digits. I mean, these are the highest in the semiconductor, both semiconductor industries. When it comes to growth rate and earnings, the reason why I have sales growth rate here is because you want sales growth rate to outpace earnings growth rate. You know, I mean, sales generate earnings. So if a company has a higher growth rate in earnings than its sales, well, that doesn't really add up to me. I'm sure you've seen Glenn talk about this before. So you can see Nvidia matches up very nicely here. Sales growth rate outperforms the growth rate in earnings quite a bit here. ARM Holdings does ever so slightly. AMD fails to do so. ACM Research meets that requirement. So does Quick Logic. Applied Opto, definitely not. It's got negative sales growth rate here, negative 23% actually. Indie Semi doesn't apply. The only other one that does here, you can see Astera Labs, 269 sales growth rate compared to the growth rate in earnings at 37%. Now, a lot of the stocks on this list here do have sell recommendations. You can see fundamentally about half the list here having unfavorable ratings when it comes to fundamentals. So a very diverse list of stocks. So let's go ahead and jump in the charts here and see if there's any potential trade setups, because with the MTI so low and the buy-sell ratio getting to those near bottom points, you know, the market will be looking for a bottom here in the near future. So these will be great candidates to put on your shopping list when we get the rally. That's right, just got to have some patience and we can make you some money. Now let's get started. All right, first up we got Nvidia. I mean, I know half of you watching this probably own this stock or at least one of the ETFs that track Nvidia. I know a lot of people were freaking out when they saw that retracement from the 140 all the way down to the 120 level here. Currently trading at 123. As far as this position right now, I am a little concerned just because the 3 is below the 8-day exponential moving average. However, look, price action still remains above that 20-day exponential and the forecasted data is still phenomenal. So right now I'm not too worried about Nvidia, but like I said, you know, we're pretty close to that 20-day exponential moving average. So if Nvidia drops, you know, much further below 120, definitely protecting profits, never a bad idea. All right, one of my favorites, we got ARM in the list. As long as the price action stays above this level of support at 149.30, I am optimistic on the stock. I mean, the moving average is all in our favor. Still got a strong buy rating on it. And if we look at the growth rate in earnings and the sales growth rate, I mean, both of these forecasted data points here are at all-time highs. My other favorite stock on the list, AMD. Look, we've got a hold rating on this. The stock had a phenomenal run here, hitting a high just above $220. However, profit taking with this upper wick here, at no surprise, the price action, you know, strong retracement here. The level of support comes in around 143.22. My real level support, I'm at 150 right now. I see the moving averages in a bearish manner. So if you're in this position, I mean, depending whether you're trading it or long-term investing, right now, protecting profits should be on your radar, but I'd definitely be more concerned if we broke this 150 level. Next up, we've got ACMR. Now this position here is sitting right at a level of resistance of $22.36. I'd like to see price action break above this resistance zone here. Now we see the top of the resistance zone coming in right around this level here of $23.25. Now I'd like to see price action break above that resistance zone and the moving averages turning over, showing us momentum to the upside. Now, as far as the forecasted data is on the rise and the numbers are phenomenal here, the growth rate in earnings comes in at 31%, while the sales growth rate at 100%. Next up, we've got Quick. Price action actually down over the last 6 months here. We see sale ratings predominantly over the last 3 months here. So as of right now, not too optimistic in this position. All the moving averages are not in our favor. If you're thinking about getting in this position, I'd like to see some more confirmation to the upside. My level is at $11.45. If I see price action get it back above this level, I would be more confident in entering this position. Here we have AAOI. You can see a clear downtrend on the stock here, currently trading at $8.51. All the moving averages still in a bearish manner. Now, on top of that, the sales growth rate is actually negative right now, sitting at negative 23%. So this position here, I'm just not enthused about. Here we have Indy. You can see price action pretty range bound between $5 and $8.50 over the last 6 months. All the moving averages are in a bearish manner right now, along with the sales growth rate dropping off here pretty significantly. It was just over 100%. Now finishing up at 29%. So this is another position I just can't get too excited about. Here we've got Data.io. We see sell ratings across the board here. However, with some optimism since hitting its low at $2.64 back on the 20th of June, we see price action on the rise here. So if you're a little bit more of a speculative or aggressive investor here, if price action could get above this level of resistance, the top of the zone coming in at 282, I'd get more enthused. We see the moving averages converging closer to each other here, seeing that bearish momentum is starting to wane and the bulls might actually have a chance. Now, one of the last semiconductor stocks here, we've got Astera Labs. This is a new stock in our database since back in March. You can see price action to the downside, bearish momentum here, but look at the growth rate earnings. It is on the rise right now. Growth rate sits at 37%, while the sales growth rate at 269. But with the stock hitting a new low today, I'd have to see some more optimism, but this might actually be one to really put on your radar because that forecasted data is quite phenomenal. All right, last stock on the list here, we've got Skywater. We see the wedge formation occurring and price action consolidating within this chart pattern. However, the sales growth rate is on the decline over the last month or so here, finishing up at 29%. When it was just over 31% not too long ago. Even the sales growth rate being on the decline right now, finishing today at 20%. So as far as forecasted data, not too excited, but when it comes to price action here, I would just wait for a breakout, either to the upside or to the downside, just depending on how you plan to play the stock. All right, VV Nation. Now we found some stocks along the way today. You know, we had 10 stocks, some of them you knew, but a lot of these stocks are very small companies that, you know, even I wasn't familiar with some of them. But we went through the charts here. You heard what I had to say. There was some opportunities in some of them, but with the market still pulling back right now, the BSR, the MTI at their levels, I still do see a little bit more downside potential before the market actually starts looking for a bottom. But some of these stocks you may just want to put on your watch list, you know, put it in your shopping cart, save it for later. Have some patience, right? Let the market come to you. Don't chase the market because that never works out too well. Now, I hope you enjoyed tonight's video. Like the content if you really enjoyed it. If you found the information informative and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way I can keep you updated going forward. Have a good night.